Hello, I am Dr. Maggie Peterson. I'm a certified wellness chiropractor, and I have my fellowship in pediatric chiropractic and transcranial direct current stimulation. And now I am a metabolic balance coach. I want to remind you all to mute your mics for the duration of the presentation, and we will be opening the mics at the end of the webinar for questions. You're welcome to put your questions in the chat during the presentation, and we'll address them at the end. Have you ever thought about how much you're eating? Have you, you have a bowl of cereal in the morning with milk, or stop off for a burger at lunch, or have pasta for supper? How much did you take in? Do you know what a serving looks like? A serving is a unit of measure used to describe a standard amount of food from each food group. The amount of food you choose to eat is a portion, or the amount of food that you are served at a restaurant is a portion, not necessarily a serving. So I think that gets really confusing for people already right off the bat, just with the definitions of this. So what does it really look like? What are we really taking in, and how is it affecting our health? And then we're going to introduce you to Metabolic Balance and explain how that program works and how it can help you. So when we look at these labels, it's telling the number of calories per serving, but each serving is different on the labels. And have you ever thought about how much that really is? So let's look over here at Frosted Flakes, right? It says 1 bowl. Okay, so I have like 6 different sizes of bowls in my cupboard. Is it a soup bowl? Is it a serving bowl? I've seen people eat cereal out of serving bowls before in college. I mean, I know that some people use that as a serving. And so you have to look at this number of grams. It says 69 grams. Okay, this is the United States. How many grams is 69 grams? We just don't know. And so we look at this one, it's like a 1/2 cup. This one's 1 1/4 cups. This one's 21 biscuits, right? So we need to figure out a little bit more about what that looks like. And the only way to know it is really to measure or weigh it out. And so we look at this picture. It's 1/4 cup of granola is anywhere from 110 to 130 calories. This picture over here is pretty much what our culture is having as a serving, but it's really closer to 3 servings of granola. And that's taking us up to, 300 calories, over 300 calories. And some granolas can be 192 calories per serving, which is all that 1/4 cup. So we're now adding, milk to that, which is easily a cup of milk, which we may or may not be using a cup. We may be using 1.5 cups. We may be using 2 cups, and it's 100 calories per cup. So now that bowl of cereal is anywhere from 500 to 700 calories. And it can be up to 84 grams of sugar. And at 40 grams of sugar, your immune system goes down for 5 hours. So here's another really great picture to illustrate a typical serving of cereal, which is actually only 30 grams, but a typical portion that we give ourselves is 90 grams, a difference of 230 calories between the two. So once again, we're adding that milk to that, and we're adding at least another 100 calories to this typical portion versus this serving right here. So once again, our breakfast for just a bowl of cereal is 500 calories. And how much nutrition did we get for our 500 calories? Where are your B vitamins? Where, other than that may have been fortified into the cereal. So I love this picture here because it's showing the number of, the amount of sugar in each serving. So if you're having this little serving right here of Kellogg's fruit to nut granola, right? 45 grams, that little 1/4 cup, you're getting 12 grams of sugar. And then, we're seeing like raisin wheat is 8.1 grams. We're seeing crunchy nut has 11 grams of sugar, and these are all like 30 grams. So these, it's not that much cereal. I mean, the most we're getting is then cornflakes, Kellogg's cornflakes, which originally did not have sugar in it, which is a very interesting story that we can save for another webinar. Maybe I'll do another one on that. So once again, if we're eating, that if we take our little Lucky Charms here, which is 27 grams of and 10 grams of sugar, then we're going to have a lot of sugar heading into these kids prior to going to school in the morning. And we wonder why kids get sick when they go to school. All right, let's go to pasta. Pasta is another really great thing that's super deceiving on a portion versus a serving. This is an actual serving of pasta, 2 ounces. And so if we look, we're seeing that we've got, for the wide noodles, we get a full cup. For the bow ties, 3/4 of a cup. For medium shells, 3/4 of a cup. And for the orzo, we're also getting 1/3 of a cup. Right over here, 1/3 of a cup. And so this up here is an actual serving. That's a 1/2 cup serving of pasta at the top here. This is the portion that we're normally getting. So it's normally 3 times or more what you're supposed to be getting for a serving. This was just such a great, that when it's cooked versus like dry pasta. And so they do it in ounces, but also like I did it in circumference size. You can have those portion size things that have the holes. They make me think of like ring sizers where you can put your finger in to see what size the ring is. And so you can do this for pasta. And so you can do it by circumference for like spaghetti noodles and linguine. It's 2 1/8 inches. So kind of like this little tip part of your thumb is like 1 inch. So it's no more than your, like the whole diameter. So that is a serving of pasta, right? And that is not what most people get. That's not what they give themselves. Okay, snack food is probably the worst for portion size versus serving size, because a pint of ice cream is a portion, right? Everybody like with me on that, right? Who doesn't take that pint of ice cream and just pop it open and eat it? There are anywhere from 2 up to 4 servings of ice cream in that small pint, depending on the kind that you get. And if we look over here at our honey grams, 8 crackers, and so 1 serving is like 2 full sheets, right? And then potato chips. I love this, how down here at the bottom, that's an actual serving of potato chips. So that little bag, that little tiny bag, that's actually a serving. But now we're going to we live in this like super size me kind of society. We shop in big warehouses. And so we get these extra big bags. And then what do? We open them up and we sit in front of the television and we snack. And so we're constantly overeating from those big portions. And then we get the 100 calorie packs, right? So that was the food industry's idea of helping us, 100 calorie packs. But it's only 100 calories. So I could maybe have like 2 or 3 of them, right? The next thing we have to look is like the size, right? So I love this that shows the number of calories per bar. So how many minis are we eating in one sitting, right? How many of them disappear from that Halloween bowl or from the Easter basket or that kind of thing? They add up pretty quickly. And so if we look over here, that little mini is 45 calories and 5 grams of sugar. And then we go to the share me size, right? How many people are sharing that? I mean, seriously, that's 440 calories and it's 56 grams of sugar. So if we're eating this share me as theirs, or even just the regular Snickers bar, that's 43 calories. We could be jumping our immune system for 5 hours. So all of our favorite candy bars over here, candies, our Skittles, our Milk Duds, all of those. And so that one little square of Milk Duds is 52 calories. So calorie in, calorie out, right? I'm not a huge fan of it personally because 52 calories of spinach versus 52 calories of Milk Duds is going to get me a tremendous amount of different kinds of nutrition. And what's going to happen with my body is a completely different experience. But I also would probably say that it's not like I'm never going to have another piece of chocolate or I'm never going to have another treat like that. But I need to know what I'm getting into. And I may choose to have more of a mini as my portion size than I am maybe a regular bar, considering, what's happening for the number of calories and the amount of nutrition we're getting. All right. This is, there is a major portion distortion to what a serving and what a portion really looks like. So when we look at the typical serving at a restaurant, and that's where we're going to say portion. The typical portion at a restaurant is what we see right here. When you're served this, what you're served is a portion. And what is on the right here is an actual serving. And so we are, so like this bowl of chips, like right here, when we get served that bowl of corn chips at the restaurant, that is not a portion, that 14 chips is a portion. This slide also shows us by the numbers, it shows like pizza and popcorn. So a jumbo popcorn, so it's actually 3 cups of popcorn is a serving, and there's anywhere from 5 to 10 in a typical serving, a typical portion at the movie theater. And I've got some other really great slides that are going to show us how that has changed and things over the years. But the other really good thing that I love about this slide is like measuring up, like using typical household items, like a ping pong ball is a serving of nut butter, and using like a checkbook is a serving of fish. A medium piece of fruit is like the size of a light bulb. And those are just different ways that we can kind of like on the fly, when we are given a portion at a restaurant, may be able to actually kind of figure out what a serving actually is. So if we look at this slide about portions, this is from 1993 to 2018, and we see how things have changed. And actually, since the 1970s, the food industry has grown larger and the people have been eating more. And we've also been eating out more. And so marketing has become more concentrated and larger numbers of new products have introduced. And so we've oversized packages to draw attention because we're getting more, a better value, more bang for our buck. And because when most of the surveys were done for consumers, it was all about value driven. And so because we're driven so much by value, we are wanting more food for our money, and we're choosing restaurants that are giving larger portions. And so restaurants advertise their supersized menus, their big gulps. Even cookbooks have changed the number of servings per recipes to match the larger portions that people are eating. Look at this. Like, this is shepherd's pie. It's from the UK. So like, this is a crumpet over here. This is like curry and rice. This is a hot cross bun. This is a pot pie. This is a falafel. This is a bagel. And so this is what would have considered a portion that you would have been served in 1993. And here's what you get served now in 2018. So it's kind of crazy what 25 years has done for these portions. This is another one. This is also showing us what a burger was. And so food consumed outside the home has accounted for 34% of the budget in 1970. And it was 47% by the late 90s, and it's up to 50% here in the 2000s. And because of this, we're getting an extra 200 calories per day in dietary intake per capita from 1977 up to 1996 is when that stat came up. And so, another possibility for this increased calorie intake is the size portions. So when you go in to get a burger, this is what you would get. And now this is what you get. And so we're also seeing that in like soda pop, we're seeing it in muffins, in popcorn, even like the pasta and the pizza sizes. I thought the pizza was really interesting, like the size difference in that. So food supply in 2001 provided 500 calories per day per capita more than it did in the 1970s. That's an entire meal right there. And what's really interesting is that we don't know what a portion is because portions are not defined except by the USDA standards given in the food pyramid. But restaurants don't have a standard or anything like that. And so because they're trying to get the consumer and that consumer driven kind of concept. And labels are also food labels. When we look at them, they're given for like a 2,000 calorie diet. And that's for a woman who's about 135 pounds to maintain her weight. So do you know what a good portion is for you? Do you like for your metabolism? And that's kind of what I'm super excited about metabolic balance. And that's where that comes in, because that will help give you more information about what you need for your body. But before we get into that, I want to go over just a few more things. The plate, so size matters, right? The cups and plates that we're using now are larger. And so we want to fill our plates. And so we're drinking more and eating more. I thought this was just such a great graph when we look from the 1700s up to like 2016, 2017, and we see how much more the size of a wine glass is. I think about like juice glasses. When I was little, my grandmother used to have like these little super tiny ones that were about 2 to 4 ounces of juice at the absolute most. And that was a juice serving. And now we have much, much bigger ones. So we are now filling our plates and our glasses more, and that distorts how much we're eating. Many of us have heard the benefits of wine for heart health, but we have to look at what's really going on in these studies. So we look at a meta-analysis, which means a study that's looked at all the other studies, and they show that it's only light to moderate intake and only for heart disease. And so it's not about it's the more you take in, the worse it actually gets. You actually get more of an increased risk in cancer and other health issues the more wine you take in. So let's see here. So when we look at this, so this is actually a quote from that study. So questions about the consumption of beer and wine and spirits are included in separate items. Total alcohol intake was the sum of the value of all three beverages. So like a 12-ounce can or bottle of beer consumed contains 13.2 grams of alcohol, 4 ounces of wine is 10.8 grams, and a standard spirit drink is 15.1 grams. And so the strong trends in risks were observed in cancer of the oral cavity, the esophagus, the larynx, hypertension, liver cirrhosis, chronic pancreatitis, injury, and violence. All have less strong direct relationship, or also for cancers of the colon, the rectum, the liver, the breast. All of these conditions increased if you had more than 25 grams of alcohol. So in other words, the risk of cancer if you are drinking 4 fluid ounces of wine 3 times a week. And so right now, that current glass that we saw in that last slide over here, that's holding 15, that's holding 15 ounces now. And so 4 fluid ounces 3 times a week is the absolute most that they found in those studies to keep the risk of cancer down and help the heart. And our glasses, our standard glass now is 3 times that. And so we really need to go back to the wine glasses of the 1700s, because those are only 2.2 fluid ounces. So it's not what we need to think about the size of the plate that we're eating upon, because that's one of the things I saw in this slide too, that I thought was like super interesting. You know, if your plate is 8.5 inches, you know, that looks like you've got a lot of food. You put that on a 12-inch plate, it looks like you've been given a smaller amount of food. It's the same amount of food on all of these plates. All of the same plates, they all have the same portion. All right, so how are we supposed to know what a portion is? For us, if we don't do metabolic balance plan, this is a great handout that I use for my patients from WebMD that can be helpful for about 90% of food. And it will help you be healthier because you're thinking more about how much you're actually consuming. But later you're going to see how metabolic balance can give you even more specific information specifically just for you. But before we get into that, let's talk about another reason to following portion sizes is kind of difficult. Number one is we look at the brain and we look at what's happening to it before and after being exposed to sugar and drugs. And this image came from a study in 2008 that was done at Princeton. And the far left here is the normal brain of a healthy rat. And the middle brain is one that was given cocaine, and the far right here was given sugar. And they look very similar, don't they? The other things that they discovered was low dopamine. And dopamine is what gives us drive and excitement to do things. And if we don't have enough dopamine, we can become depressed. And we saw that our brains, the more that our brains become stimulated, the less the response is. And hence the slogan, I bet you can't just eat one. So we can become addicted to food as well. And we're wanting more and more and more. So I recently read a book called Salt, Sugar, Fat, and How the Food Giants Hooked Us by Michael Mose. And he talked about the amount of salt, sugar, and fat that is in corporate cooking. And he states that they're not an evil empire, but a business trying to sell a product. And remember how we talked about in that survey that a lot of us are, what they found is that we're value driven. And so they're trying to sell a product. I also found it really interesting that Philip Morris, the tobacco company, purchased Kraft, General Mills, and Nabisco. And then they brought over their advertising executives to the food companies to help them sell to kids. And they hired food engineers to help them make products last longer and trip the brain into using a bliss point, a melt point, and a flavor burst point. And these are the points that helped our brain to fire up like we saw in that other slide. So the flavor burst point is the amount of salt. The sugar is the bliss point, and the melt point is the fat. It's that really feel good feeling that you get when you eat it. It's like, oh, it just feels so good to eat it. But without all of these things at a certain level, the food tastes pretty crappy. You don't get the right crunch. Cornflakes taste like metal, waffles taste like straw, and soda tastes like super, super acidic. And so our brains rely on glucose as a form of sugar. And without fat, we can't make hormones, and sodium, potassium, and calcium and magnesium need to be in a ratio with each other for our cells to work. But we as Americans don't know how much we're really taking in. And so we're going to look at that because it's kind of crazy. We just don't realize how much we're taking in. The average adult is taking in 30,400 milligrams of salt per day, and that is 50% more than it's recommended by the federal guidelines. And they recommend about 2,300 milligrams for children, that's a teaspoon. And for children, they're recommending about 2,200 milligrams if they're 9 to 13, 1,900 milligrams if they're ages 4 to 8, 1,500 milligrams if they are 1 to 3, and less than 1,000 milligrams if they are under the age of 1. And they found that the average child is taking in, when they're about 6 to 10 years of age, 2,900 milligrams of salt and 3,700 milligrams if they're teens. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that we don't know what we don't know what a serving size is, and we're getting these portions and they've been 3 times what they used to be. So now we're up to about 130 pounds of sugar each year for the average adult, which is kind of crazy. No wonder we're hooked. So it's 5 points. So when we talk about fat, trans fats, there is like 0 amount that you should be taking in. And it's increasing your risk for like cardiovascular disease and all that kind of stuff. But we need about the average American is eating about 5.6 grams per day of fat. And we are being duped into how much we're actually taking in, because the law states that if you have less than 0.5 grams of trans fat per serving, you get to put 0 on the label. So here we have these labels. We're trying to figure out like what a serving size is. We're trying to follow it, and then they can have so they've changed the serving size to be able to put 0 trans fats on the label as well. And so this is why it gets to be like super confusing about what are we actually taking in? And that's where it gets helpful to be able to like measure your food or have that portion size thing that we saw before, or a metabolic balance plan that helps you to really understand what it is that you're getting. So with all of this thing, no wonder it's difficult for us to like manage weight and help us to figure out what are we really taking in. And so I want to introduce you to a program that helps you navigate the world of food, and not just in general, but super specific to you. And that's Metabolic Balance. It's a scientifically proven program. It's a nutrition program that is based on your body. And it was developed by Dr. Wolf. He was a doctor of internal medicine. His wife, Bridget, and she was a naturopathic kinesiology practitioner. And her sister, Sylvia Burkle, who has her master's in nutrition with an emphasis on adjusting food to counteract ailments. And they saw an increase in metabolic syndrome. And metabolic syndrome is a cluster of conditions that occur together and that we can recognize as inflammation and lifestyle diseases. They increase your risk for things like stroke or heart disease, obesity, and diabetes. And the aim of metabolic balance is to bring your metabolism back into a healthy balance and to improve your quality of life through the right nutrition for your unique body. Metabolic balance is not a diet. It's a weight management program that focuses on individual nutrition as part of a positive lifestyle. Change what we can and change what we can to have a positive impact on things like metabolic syndrome and other health issues. When your body is given the right nutrition, this is one of the things I love about metabolic balance, is that when your body is given the right nutrition, it can make all the enzymes and hormones necessary for a balanced metabolism. And once that's achieved, you can actually learn how to follow your own natural signals for hunger and full. So we are given a serving, but what if that serving for you is too much? And because we have been so distorted on how much food we should be taking in or what a size looks like, we as a society have lost those inner signals to know and understand how much should we be taking in. So metabolic balance helps you to reach your health goals faster. The nutrition plan is a personalized plan based on your health history, your functional blood chemistry results. And once that nutrition, all that gets put in together and a plan is formed for you. And our coaches will discuss the healthy, specific, and varied meals that you can consume. And it's surprising how easy it is for you to change your diet once you start to feel good. I mean, once you really understand and once you figure out your why, like why is it important for you to be healthy? And our coaches here, we help you to figure out what that is. And the really cool thing about these plans is that there is like 10,000 different foods and preparations, 1,100 basic and unprocessed foods, 138 nutrition facts and ingredients per food item. So all of that is put together, like you're drawing from all of that information to choose a plan that's right for you. And there are lots of things for you to choose from. So you should never underestimate how your body can start to change and work right once it's given the right kind of food. Health with personalized nutrition has an incredible impact on your body. And it's that personalized nutrition plan that makes all of the difference. So why choose us? There are so many programs that can help you to be successful. And one of the things that I really love about metabolic balance is that it actually is proven through a research study that was done by a separate university in Germany. And we had a 62.5% success rate a year after the original study. People have kept off 5% or more, and 31.1% had kept off 10% of more. And so we at FCM Metabolic Balance build on that successful program and solid foundation of this. And we understand that food in the Midwestern culture is more than just nutrition. I mean, oh my gosh, right? Like we food and food gatherings are an art form. A potluck, man, that's a whole other kettle of fish right there. And so we understand that not only do you want to be healthy, but you need to live within your culture. You need to live within your family. You need to live within these kinds of things that we've got in our communities. And so we are a great resource. You're not out just like, hey, here's your foods, go for it. We're here to help you create through coaching and education and help you to develop a program to help with like creating that community as well. We've also created a group program to help like-minded people come together and support each other. And we know that, you can lose weight going on a 1,200 calorie Twinkie diet. I mean, so like I said, calorie in, calorie out, I'm not a big fan of it because you can eat a 1,200 calorie Twinkie diet and lose weight, but you're not going to be healthier. And so what we're wanting is to have health that's sustainable. And we want to be stronger, healthier people at the end, not just lose weight, because the number of people that lose weight and then put it back on and then put more weight on is really, really, really up there for statistics. And so it isn't what we're looking for is just to drop the pounds. You're looking for a way to transform and have the sustainable and make that transformation. And that's our mission, is to help you transform your life through a new lifestyle habits and the way that you're thinking around your body and food. And through this transformational thinking, you'll be able to make the best choices, and it helps you maintain your health and the weight loss that you've achieved. But it's those health things that change. And by learning your inner signals and by understanding how your body works, you're then able to go to a restaurant and be given a portion of food and know how much of that you really need to be eating. When I traveled to New York, when I was on my metabolic balance plan in my strict conversion phase, we went to this really great soul food restaurant. I mean, oh my gosh, I love food. I'm a huge foodie. Oh my gosh, I love to cook and I love to eat. And so super excited about how I was able to realize that the amount of food that they gave me was actually 3 servings of fish in my order. And so being able to choose how much of that I was going to eat, it was very empowering. And so we can help you with that as well. And so I'm going to have Bree, if you would please explain how the program works and let everybody know about it.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I am Dr. Maggie's Metabolic Balance Assistant Coach, and I'll explain with you a little bit about how our program works and what it all includes. So to start with, there is blood work that we receive from you individually that helps us create a plan, a metabolic balance nutrition plan. We also have group and individual coaching calls, as well as many other program benefits, which I'll highlight with you in a few minutes. But we do have special opportunities for you that we are excited to share about. We have group programs offered a few times a year, which I'll share with you the date in the chat feature. But this route is set up to provide a community of like-minded individuals who support one another throughout your journey. So the cost is $925, which is a savings of $175 from the individual plan. This includes, again, your blood work, your nutrition plan, group and individual coaching calls as well, and then our other program benefits. Though if a group is not for you, or you are ready to get started right away and the timing just doesn't line up, there is an opportunity for private coaching that you may sign up for at any time. So that still includes all the program inclusions except for the group coaching calls. The cost for a private program is $1,100. Some of our highlights of our program benefits are that we provide about a year's worth of support. While there's room to adjust for your individual goals, we work hard to develop your skills and confidence to take this program and apply it to the rest of your life. So this coaching program of educational and coaching series includes a minimum of 3 different series of content that supports you where you are within your metabolic balance 4 phases. So within each series, you receive about 6 weeks worth of content supporting you with your metabolic balance plan and lifestyle coaching. We work off an online platform called Healthy that is HIPAA compliant, where we are able to safely communicate, track your progress, and provide the education and coaching content within our program series while keeping your information safe. Within our series content, we introduce and build on your knowledge of your body and how following a metabolic balance nutrition plan and lifestyle works for you in building your health. We also address and coach how to intertwine your nutrition plan within your life so you don't feel like you're living within a diet and you're able to get outside of your bubble or your comfort zone using your metabolic balance plan to really establish a lifestyle. So you can still enjoy vacations, special occasions, holidays, family gatherings. We have the tools and the knowledge how to navigate these events. So we also discuss how to cook for and eat with your family on a daily basis, as well as supporting your unique dietary restrictions like allergies, different sensitivities that you may have that will actually learn from you within your health history. But all these things are considered and discussed before submitting for your personalized plan. Our mission at FCM Metabolic Balance is helping people build long-term wellness and physical harmony through an individualized nutrition plan, supportive coaching, personal development, and education. We're really here to help you achieve your success. So again, a big part of our program is our unique approach to coaching you to build a lifestyle that works within all the unique factors that make up your life. So we look at, again, things like gluten sensitivities, if you're dairy-free, other allergies. Your whole family can eat these foods, okay? You're going to the grocery store and you're buying these foods. You don't have to buy special food or shakes or things like that. So your whole family can actually really benefit from even just you doing this plan. You don't have to eat the foods that you don't like. Okay, we do take that into consideration when we are creating a plan. And then if there's things on there that you just never tried before and you tried and you're like, maybe not, that's okay. There's a wide range of food to choose from on each individual's list. So, and there's 8 strategies to follow as a foundation for a lifetime of success that we really use as a backbone to coach you with your lifestyle. We invite you to join our Facebook page. You can find us at FCM Metabolic Balance. We recently just launched our business on Instagram as well, so be sure to look for us there and follow along to learn more and to continue to be inspired to make lifestyle changes for yourself that will change your quality of life. And if you are looking for more information from previous webinars, you can find them on our YouTube channel as well at FCM Metabolic Balance. So feel free to contact us to answer any questions and help you start your program, either by calling, emailing us, or even sending us a message in your chat through Healthy or even through WhatsApp. Our contact information is on our Facebook page as well, including WhatsApp messaging.
On behalf of Brianne and myself, I would like to thank you for coming to the webinar, and I hope you learned something. One of the things that I love about Metabolic Balance, like I said, is it gives you an individual program and you learn your portions and you learn about your inner signals. And so when you are faced with a culture that's giving you food sizing that is well beyond a serving, and like we saw the differences in just 25 years, how much more food we're being given in our portions at restaurants or within packaging at the grocery store too. Without that support, it's really hard for us to understand how much are we really taking in, how many servings did we really eat today. And so I really hope that you learned something and found like hope and even perhaps a solution that could help you maintain and gain the health that you're looking for. One of my favorite quotes is by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just the first step. So we hope that you are one step closer to your health goals, and we're here to help you reach them. And we will stick around for some questions. Thank you so much.